Over on BBC iPlayer, we have the return of the wildlife documentary series Big Cats 24/7. And here's a clip.
In an area that is crawling with lions, there's only one resident cheetah. And her name is Pobe.
This is the Kudum Pride, the world's largest pride of lions, headed up by these two, Big Toe and Maduma.
Well, this is what the Beeb, one of the many things the Beeb is so good at, wildlife documentaries. And this is a return to the Okavango Delta in Botswana, which is an absolute haven for big cats. And 24/7, yes, they can follow them round the clock because they've got these amazing thermal imaging cameras, so they can film them at night, which is terrific and fascinating. And also they've got drone cameras, so it means that they can, wherever the cats go, even if they can't follow them in their vehicles, the drones can keep track of where they are, which just makes the whole thing a lot easier. And then you can just tell the story as it unfolds. So yeah, Gordon Buchanan, of course, he's back, and he's a real veteran of BBC wildlife documentaries now, isn't he? He's got a very interesting backstory, growing up in the Hebrides, and how and why the great outdoors means so much to him. So the camera operators feature quite heavily in this because there are also other cameras mounted on their vehicles, and they're talking to camera about, we're following the lions now, we're doing this and that. They're talking to each other on the radio. It's really nice, I think. And yes, there are we're revisiting the Kudum Pride of lions, and we're catching up with them, what's happening there. There are some intruder males that are going to cause a ruckus. One of the cheetahs now that we met before has 2 cubs. There's a new leopard with a cub. It's all going on. But yeah, the footage is incredible. And they also they have these camera traps in their camp where they stay at night. And when they look at the footage from those, they just see there've been sort of lions have been in camp, and elephants, hyenas. It's terrifying. So yeah, it's just it's really high quality wildlife filmmaking, and I love it. What did you think, Hannah?
I absolutely love stuff like this. And of course, it's only going to get better and better, isn't it? Because technology is getting better and better. And the thermal imagery cameras and the drones just mean that you get access all areas that we just haven't ever seen before. And you're right. I think the interesting thing about this one is that you get to see a lot more of the camera crew. You get to see what's going on in their camp. And I went on honeymoon on safari, and we stayed right out. And the Maasai warriors took us back each night, and they'd have a fire stick as you'd go to make sure that there were no animals around, and they'd zip you in before they'd go back. But the same thing would happen overnight. You could hear the elephants going over your tent poles, but you had a walkie-talkie, and there was a lion roaring outside the tent, but they say they'd never come for you. That it would be you that would cause the problem for them. They're not there to get you. They're just outside having a sleep. But yeah, it's when, like you say, when you see that kind of footage, you think, crikey, it's pretty close, isn't it? And there's a bit of flimsy material between you and them. But what never fails to amaze me is the human, whether we humanize them, I don't know, probably because we give them all names and stuff, but it's just this lovely, simple sort of world, isn't it, really, where you just look after your own and your young. The playing with the cubs is just absolutely gorgeous. And then how this sort of, the pecking order can change so quickly, how you can rule the roost and then suddenly not. And you just feel like you're on a massive journey and so close to it. And the only thing with these things is it was always a sort of a sadder element to them often, isn't there? And of course, you're screaming from the sofa, please step in and stop that from happening. But of course you can't. You're there, as a byproduct of what is happening in the wild. And if we were to tamper with that would be a problem. So it's just brilliant. And I think things like this are only going to get better.